Yo guys, what's good? As once again with another Exos Heroes video. The Coliseum is my favorite content piece in the game. Why? Let's talk about it. The Coliseum. Place where dreams get created and destroyed. A place where you might have to deal with the worst roster in the game you have ever seen, or the best units you will ever play with. An area which offers so much more than simple battles against a given pretty stupid AI. A journey that lets you enjoy the ups and downs of your decision making. The place where I learned more about the game than in most other parts of the game. This is the Coliseum for me. A playground to test out new ideas, confirm suspicion, and find interesting concepts. This is not an ode to the amazingness of choice when penalized with restrictions. What this is a plea to all of you to get in there and test it for yourself. When we are presented with a limited choice, we usually tend to take the best available, even if we wouldn't choose it under any other circumstances. We tend to stick to the known, to the true and tested. We stay in our comfort zone, well, because it's so damn comfy. I hope you got a snack and beverage to keep you afloat while listening to my soothing voice in this rainy but warm evening. Alright, enough of me trying to convince you of the awesomeness of the Coliseum, let's get into some juice. There are a couple things I learned in the Coliseum that either weren't as clear to me before or I simply misunderstood. Mana generation and Guardian Stone breaks are the most important bits of this. If you lack understanding on how your heroes generate mana, if you are not aware of the benefits or disadvantages of certain breaks, then you will have a tough time later on in this game. It might make you believe that you need unit X to progress, and it gets you stuck into a mindset of raw power is all that matters. When I first played the Coliseum, I was familiar with my heroes, and my heroes only. I knew about some small interaction with certain characters, either from videos I've seen or content I've progressed through. But a solid understanding on what different units do, what kind of base sets they have, when they are able to beat me up so hard my own wife wouldn't recognize me? Yes, I was lacking all of that. Especially about rares and legendaries. There's a couple of very underrated units that you wouldn't consider as good simply because their kit doesn't scream dragon blood. But exactly this is what you need to understand. How can you use a unit to its full potential? Why is Hero X stronger than Y, although X's multipliers are higher? This video is not there to provide answers to all these questions. However, I want to address some. Let's start with why heroes can differ so much in strength when they have the same multipliers. Why can a unit with a lower multiplier be so much stronger? What it boils down to are a couple of key components. What type is the hero? What passives does the hero have? Which element is the hero? You see, while it's easy to know that attack and chaos types generate mana when they auto-attack, knowing that dark units generate mana for fallen allies, it's difficult to understand how all of these heroes' individual components work together. Let's take one of my favorite heroes, which I sadly don't have, Rudley, as an example. He's an attacker of the nature element with counter 3 passive. For those of you who don't know yet, a little bit more background. Attackers generate 1 mana when they hit with their auto attack. Important, hit. Nature elements generate 1 mana for any hero on the battlefield that is lower than 30% on a turn. Counter 3 lets you gain 1 mana if the health of the target is 70% or more, and 1 mana if the target dies. That's a bunch of information, I know.
Hey, listen!
Navi, shut up, not your turn. Alright, so if we take all of this together, we can create a good scenario on how you might gain mana. Let's assume Rudley and Baraka are on the same field, Baraka the enemy in this encounter. He decides to go for Rudley, and because he is in sick gear, he brings my Rudley down to 27%. My Rudley counters, gains 1 mana, because the target is above 70%, he gets another mana. Because he himself is below 30%, another mana. Now it's my Rudley's turn, and I have 3 mana. Bye bye. Almost any target I pick is dead. Doesn't make sense to you? Let me show you in a slowdown of one of these fights in the background where almost the exact thing that I just described happens. So what happens here is the river attacks my Otard and almost kills her. She breaks her and the nature element, so my Otard is definitely below 30%. Now Deva attacks my back row, hitting Rudley. My Rudley counters. He gets the mana from the counter, from Deva being above 70% and had the mana from Otard being below 30%. He has 3 mana and now I can nuke whatever I want. Now let's take for example Bernadette. She is also an attacker, frost type, and has mana utilization 3. There was no block, enemies don't have more than 10 mana, she didn't use an attack. So yeah, 0 mana for her. I think you understand what I'm getting at. It's sometimes difficult to understand why units that look insane on paper don't perform and while others that look weaker at first glance can dominate. Yes, I'm talking about you, Sharpie, with your 252 multiplier on a 3 mana reset while you benefit from your fallen brethren. Now that we have the math out of the way, I really hope you get the feel why I like the Coliseum so freaking much. It's a place of learning and gaining experience, and in all honesty, this is the most fun in any game. I mean, besides winning, of course. And speaking about winning, I hope I could win you over as a new subscriber. Hit the button and be part of, well, my subscribers. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video and drop a comment to let me know what you think. As always, it was a pleasure to have you here and I will see you in the next one. Until then, enjoy the grind.